Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be working on our super soil for gardening in containers. We're going to be making a variation of potting soil, and we're going to be using it in our bucket garden, and we need to make a lot of it. But it's going to take us a little while to explain our way through this. If you've seen our other super soil video, it's going to be very similar, but potting soil has a few different changes to it. So guys, we're going to get in here. We're going to make us a good baseline potting soil to use in our containers, and then as we go through our bucket planting videos, we'll tell you about the specific needs of each kind of plant. We'll go ahead and add those in a little bit extra as we go. So, but guys, let's get in here. We've got a big tarp laid out. We have a mountain of soil sitting behind us, and we're going to dig through it. I'll do the explaining. Tina will do the crawling around and mixing it together. Yep. And somehow we're going to end up with a mountain of potting soil. So hang in. What did you think?
Dirt.
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 All right, guys. Hang in there. We're going to make dirt. Alrighty, guys. We'll start off by just taking kind of a look at what we've got here. We've got 6 bags of black cow. We've got 3 big bags of potting mix. We have 3 bags of garden soil. We have 3 bags of compost and humus. We have 2 big bales of peat moss. About 4.4 cubic feet of garden soil there. We've got 1 bag of blood meal. We've got 2 bags of bone meal and a bag of perlite. We've got some lime. We've got some of our Job's vegetable and tomato fertilizer, and we've got some generic 10-10-10. Say hi to everybody. Hi. But guys, we're going to start breaking these things down one at a time. We'll talk about the function of each one in the potting soil, and we'll get Tina down here and scrubbing around in the dirt. So let us get some of this stuff opened up, and we'll explain it as we go. Alrighty, guys. We started out by pouring out this peat moss. The peat moss is going to be primarily just filler. In fact, that's what we're going to work on first, is just the bulk filler of the soil mix. So we're going to get this peat moss spread out a little bit so we can lay a layer on top of it. We're just going to layer things together, but we'll try to keep common things like this filler. We'll do all the filler first. So, but the peat moss is going to come first. It comes from bogs. It doesn't tend to break down. It's pretty good at adding drainage to soil and building a loose soil structure. So the peat moss is going to be the first thing in our mix. Next thing we're probably going to add in here is going to be our garden soil. I don't hold it in very high regard, though it is full of organic materials, mostly wood and other things that aren't completely broke down yet. So we'll probably just add this generic garden soil to it, and that'll be the main bulk of just our filler. We aren't really counting on it for any nutritional content, mostly just drainage and bulk. So we're going to go. She's uncovering the garden soil here. We'll get that spread out, and then we'll bring you guys back and show you what we're on to next. Alrighty, guys, we got the 2 big bales of the garden soil on there. We got 3 more bags yet to go on, but we'll go ahead and rake some of this out a little bit, show you the color difference between it and the peat moss. You can see the light colored chips and stuff in there. A lot of that's just unbroke down wood. But we got 3 smaller bags that we were going to use. They're each about a cubic foot each, but we wanted about 7 cubic feet total. So we got a 4.4 in the other one, and we'll have 3 or so in this one. It'll be somewhere between 7 and 8. I was kind of show you this too. Between the big bales and the small bags, both made by the same company, both touted as the same garden soil, are not at all the same. So the stuff in the bag is almost black. The stuff in the bales looks like something off the wood chipper floor. So that's why we don't gamble a whole lot. The inconsistencies in it, we just need it for bulk filler. It does have wood and stuff in it that will break down over time and keep the soil rich, but for right now we're not really depending on it for anything except just, like I said, bulk filler. So we'll get these on, we'll get them spread out, and then we'll bring you back here in a minute. We'll show you what else we're going to do to this pile. Alrighty, guys. Tina's working on getting this potting mix put on here, and I can tell you that we were counting on it as part of our drainage plan and hoping that it had a lot of perlite in it. and it looks like there was a shortage of perlite this year. I don't see a whole lot of it in the potting mix. They may have used, I can see some tan specks down in it. They may have used a little vermiculite, but
yeah, there's some.
Yeah, it looks like vermiculite down in there. But we'll go over the bags. Maybe I'll add a note in at the end of the video. Either way, the potting mix was, we were counting on it solely for drainage, and really not really counting on it for any nutritional value or long-term value. But we'll go ahead and get this on the pile. And then we got a couple more components to our drainage thing. Well, we'll go ahead and get the vermiculite or the perlite on if you want. And then we got one more component to our drainage thing we're going to talk about, and we'll bring you back for that part of it. But right now, it looks like it's a good thing we had an extra bag of perlite sitting around. We're going to have to, we were, you know, making our own potting mix anyway, so we'll go ahead and add our own perlite to it. While Tina stomps around in the mud. We'll go ahead and get that perlite added on the pile, and then we'll you can just dump it on there, baby. Ain't no. we'll get it stirred up here, raked out and stirred up. But guys, we'll bring you back. We'll talk a little bit more about drainage in the soil. Alrighty, guys, we got a pretty big pile going on here so far. We're probably 6 or 7 foot long, about 4 or 5 foot wide, and about a foot deep. But of all of that, we are pretty much talking about inert materials and drainage materials. Now, we are going to get a little bit into the nutritional side of this soil, but it's hard to believe that this much of the pile is primarily devoted to filler and drainage. But we're going to step up just a little bit. We've got some black cow back here. We've got about 6 bags of it. And black cow has a lot of sand in it. If you disagree, then I know they make it different in different parts of the country. But if you want to find out for sure what's in it, put it in a glass jar, put a lid on it, shake it, let it stand for 24 hours. Take a look at the bottom of it. That's your sand. On top of that will be your silt. On top of that will be your organics. And somewhere in there will be, right above the sand will be a layer of clay. But guys, we're going to go ahead. We're just going to call the black cow primarily for use as sand. Its nutritional content is 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. So it has very little of the NPK in it that we need, and we primarily want it just for the sand and drainage. So we're going to go ahead, we'll get these put on top of the pile, give you a look here at the pile with the perlite spread out, and then we're going to get going on this black cow. Alrighty guys, we've got our pile here, and we've got our black cow added to the top of it. And that's going to be the last of our drainage features. So now we've got our inert materials and our drainage done. And now we're going to have to work a little bit on soil structure. And one of the best things for soil structure is compost, manure, humus, you name it, it's in those bags there. But it's the kind of stuff that'll break down in the soil, but it'll add soil structure to it as it does it. And it'll help break down the other things in the soil too. It invites the little microscopic organisms to come in there and have a little lunch. So guys, we're going to go ahead, we'll get this humus added to the pile, and then we'll get it flattened out, and we'll go to work on some of the nutritional aspects of the soil. We've got our stuff laid out here. We're ready to show you that, but let's go ahead, we'll get this other stuff on the pile here, and then we'll bring you guys back. Alrighty guys, we're getting ready to start on the nutritional part of our soil here, and Tina is putting on one of the 2 3-pound bags of bone meal that we have. Bone meal is going to act as our source of phosphorus. Also has a little bit of calcium in it, but bones are made of calcium, so it's got some calcium in it. But this is going to be our main source of phosphorus. Now we want to keep that in a 2-to-1 ratio to nitrogen. So we got 2 bags of bone meal, but we're going to be adding 1 bag of blood meal. And you can get a look at that bone meal. It's nice and white. The bone meal looks like just a white powder, but the blood meal here is looks like a burnt rust. Actually, kind of smells like it too. But got a lot of iron in it, being blood meal. But now we've got bone meal and blood meal on. That's a 2-to-1 ratio. We want to try to maintain that. We're going to go ahead and just mix that lightly into the surface so you can see what we're going to do next. But we'll get a rake, we'll get that turned in, and then we'll come up here and show you how we're going to continue adding to this pile. Alrighty guys, we'll bring you back in here. The next thing we're going to be adding is 2 quart jars of our Job's back here on the right, the Job's tomato and vegetable. But we'll go ahead, we're going to put they said we'll put 2 full quart jars on there. I'm not really sure how that translates in cups. What is that, 8 cups? 4 cups to a quart? I have no idea. I'll look it up, and we'll put that in a little note here on the video. But we're going to put 2 quarts of that Job's. It's what is it, a 2-7-4. It's 2 parts nitrogen, 7 parts phosphorus, 4 parts potassium. It's going to be one of the sources we've got our, it stays in the right ratio for the nitrogen and the phosphorus, but now we're adding a little bit of potassium in, and we're going to be adding a little bit more here. We're going to go ahead and we'll add a quart jar of the 10-10-10 fertilizer. Now it's out of balance for what we have, but it's not going to, since it's even, it's not really going to throw us too far out of balance. But adding a quart jar of that 10-10-10, that'll give it a little bit of extra everything and not throw our ratios off too bad. So guys, we'll go ahead, we'll get that stirred in, we'll come back and talk to you a little bit more about what we're going to be putting in here. Alrighty guys, we got the fertilizers and stuff mixed in here. Now the next thing we're going to be adding is we've got some powdered lime. We're going to be adding a quart jar of it to the pile. Now lime will oh, poor Tina, she's covered in it. Ah,
it's
getting
all
worse.
right.
It's all right. Oh, get down. We're blowing away in the wind here. Now that we've limed our pile and the neighbors, yeah. We'll sorry about the wind, guys, but we'll go ahead. We'll get that stirred in before it all blows away, and before we blow away. But the lime will act as a buffer. It'll the peat moss and stuff is slightly acidic. The rain that falls on your garden is slightly acidic, and the lime here is very alkaline. So it'll help the soil to keep it from going too acidic. In fact, everything that breaks down turns slightly acidic as it breaks down. So the lime will act as a buffer. It'll help keep the pH in the soil up, and it also is another source of calcium. We want calcium in our soil, and we're going to talk about that next. But it's a good source of calcium also. So guys, we're going to go ahead. We'll get this stirred in here just a little bit, and then we're going to talk about a few more things that we're going to use in this soil pile. Alrighty guys, the next thing that's going to go on here, Tina was just measuring out, is we're going to put on about a tablespoon of borax. And we're just going to sprinkle that. It's a trace mineral in the soil, but your plants need it in order to pick up the other minerals in the soil. So are the things like calcium and magnesium. Borax plays a role in that too. In fact, some plants are pretty heavy borax feeders. Broccoli would be one of them. Most of the brassicas are. So got to make sure you have a little bit of borax in or boron in your soil. Borax is actually the detergent additive, but it's made primarily of boron, and you can use it in your soil. You just want to use it in very trace amounts. It's actually, if you use it too much of it, it's a broadleaf herbicide, so it'll kill anything broadleaf in your garden. But you just keep it as a trace mineral. There's plants that need it, and we'll go ahead, got that on here, and now we're going to move on. We're going to talk a little bit about calcium and magnesium. So hang on one second, we'll get set up for that. We'll bring you guys right back. Alrighty guys, what Tina's doing now is we're adding 2 quart jars of oyster shell calcium. It's there in that bag. You can get it at the feed section of your local TSC is where we get ours for the chickens. But we're going to add 2 quart jars of calcium. Calcium is used in building our bones, and it's also used in building the structure of tomatoes and peppers and a bunch of other vegetables that we enjoy. But your plants can't pick up calcium without magnesium. So what we're going to do is we're going to add we've already measured out. We've got 2 cups of Epsom salt, and we're going to go ahead and add that. Epsom salt is a great source of magnesium. So we'll go ahead and get that on. And guys, that really helps out with the peppers and tomatoes and stuff. But your plants really can't use the other minerals without magnesium. It's a carrier that carries the nutrients up into the plant. So guys, we'll go ahead, we'll get this all mixed up, and then we'll bring you back and show you what we look like in terms of a pile. But guys, that's going to be pretty much it for the nutritional end of it. We've got everything covered. We've got our 2 parts phosphorus to 1 part nitrogen. We need that for so our carrots and stuff like that don't grow big tops and small bottoms. But we've got our calcium, we've got our magnesium, we've got our lime in there to help buffer the soil. And guys, it's just going to be a nice pile of potting soil. It's pretty set up to drain. It's a lot of inert materials. And we'll just get it mixed up here. We'll give you a final look at it once we get going. And then we'll let you guys get out of here. Alrighty guys, we got a pretty good mix on this soil here. You can see the different bands, the different colors running through it, and we got the perlite spread out so you can see the white flecks down through there too. But we'll also be able to, as we go and fill the buckets with it, this is for our bucket garden project. As we fill the buckets with it, we'll be able to mix it a little better as we go. But we'll just chop off layers, give it a mix, and then we'll put it in the buckets. But guys, looking at this pile here, we mixed up all the things we showed earlier in the video, and we're still not completely convinced that this will be enough to do our 21 bucket garden. So guys, we're probably going to add some, we've got some wood chips back here. We'll probably add some wood chips to the bottom of the buckets for drainage and stuff. We were planning on doing that anyway, but we're probably still going to end up having to stretch this soil out just a little bit. If we do that, probably just do it in the form of peat moss and perlite, 2 inert things that really won't change the makeup of it too much, other than just water it down a little bit. But guys, there's the pile. We're probably solid 8 foot long, a solid 6 foot wide, and probably 4 foot high there in the center. It might not look like it on camera, but that's a big old pile of dirt, guys. So let me get over here. Tina's taking her customary shower with the garden hose. We'll go sit down with her and get you guys out of here. Alrighty guys, I don't think we're going to be able to get any more work out of Tina today. She's about plumb wore out.
I'm beat.
Here, move out to the side. We'll show them that big pile of dirt behind us. There you go.
Lots of dirt.
Lots of dirt. Guys, we appreciate you coming and checking out our super soil videos. We've got another one that a lot of people have seen. Probably a few 100,000 people have seen. So, but if you haven't seen it yet, we'll put a link for it somewhere up here in this corner back here. But guys, we'll go check that out. It'll probably do a better job explaining the different balances that we've tried to build into the soil. We wanted the NPK to work out. We wanted to be able to buffer the pH of the soil. And we wanted plenty of drainage and inert material in there too. And when you guys are growing in containers, you're going to end up feeding a little more often because you're going to end up watering a little more often. That water will leach your nutrients right out of the soil. So be prepared. We've got that Job's 274. We really like it. The Job's what they call it, tomato and vegetable. Yeah. Comes in a red and white bag, but guys, that's good stuff for feeding. Keeps your NPK in the right proportions, and it's a low enough numbers you're not going to burn your plants up with it. So guys, we'll go ahead and get out of here. If you like the content here on the channel, we hope you'll subscribe. Down next to the subscribe button is a bell. You ring that bell, that'll show you whenever Tina's playing around with a big old pile of dirt. Yeah. But if you liked the video today, we hope you'll give it a thumbs up and leave us a comment down below if you've got any questions. Guys, we understand that the soil mix is not organic and that there are other organic choices that you can make. We made the soil mix so that anybody could go to any big box store, pick up the ingredients for it, and have success growing. But there are definitely more organic choices that you can make with your soil, and we understand that. We're not trying to be dangerous. We're happy with the choices that we've made, but we wanted to make this a video so that anybody could go pick up these ingredients and have a little bit of success in their gardening. Guys, one thing we want to do is have people have some success so that they don't get out and get frustrated with their garden and then quit gardening. Guys, it's a great skill to have, and it's also one that's fading quickly. We need to get more people out there, get more people enjoying their gardens and understanding their soil and their plants, and that's what Tina and I hope to do. If we can reach out and touch one more person, that'd just be great with us. If we can just pass it along, and if you guys learn anything here, pass that along if you would, and then the whole world will be a little bit better off. But guys, we really do appreciate it. We really did start this in hopes of just reaching out and changing one person's way of doing things and getting them back out in the garden, and we hope we've reached a lot more in the process. But guys, thank you for spending your time with us. We had a great time here mixing up some dirt.
Yep.
Tina's got it all over.
I'm dirty.
She's taken 2 or 3 customary hose showers in the process.
Yeah.
But guys, it's time for us to get out of here. We need to get in and get this video posted and get some food and enjoy the rest of our evening too. So we hope you do, and thank you for just spending your time with us. We'll catch you in the next one.